A quick guide to returning to work under COVID-19 restrictions. All of the companies that are returning now have spent considerable time and effort looking at government advice and putting procedures in place to make sure that when their people come back to work that they're protected. But you need to know what you need to do in order to follow these procedures. Hopefully this guide will help. With the exception of some non-essential shops and some public venues, the government, HSE and Public Health England have never advised businesses to close. But if companies want to avoid big fines or other punishments, procedures must be in place to limit the risk of transmission of the disease and to look after the health, safety and welfare of their employees. So if you're thinking about going to work, what do you need to know and what do you need to do? The first one, stay at home. If anybody in your house has symptoms, if you have symptoms of the disease, or if you have been in contact with anybody who has had symptoms, stay at home if you're a vulnerable person or if you have underlying health conditions. More guidance about this is online, but I think watching the news and everything else, we all know who should stay at home. Please do this and don't put others at risk. If you are returning to work, be prepared. When you go into the workplace, there will be restrictions around any shared spaces. So if you do have a canteen or a restroom, there will be a limited number of people allowed in there at any one time in order to maintain 2-metre social distancing. Try and bring food and drink from home. Any canteen facilities may be restricted or closed. If you work in a factory or if you're on a construction site, do you need to bring antibacterial cleaner to work? Do you need to bring hand sanitizer? And if you use personal protective equipment, PPE, such as masks or gloves, even if you don't use them all of the time, you might need them at this time with the current restrictions. Social distancing. Make every effort to stay 2 meters away from anybody else wherever possible. That includes travelling, walking around site, working and on breaks. If they're in place, follow one-way systems, and if there are limited numbers in facilities, then adhere to the rules. There is government advice about what to do and the precautions to take if you have to work within 2 meters, but make every effort first to try and make everything a safe solo activity without putting yourself at risk. If you do want to take the government advice on working closer than 2 meters, make sure it's allowed by your company rules before you do so. Enhanced hygiene measures. Wash your hands for 20 seconds with soap and water when you first arrive at work. Wash your hands or sanitize them after touching doors or surfaces or work materials or anything else that somebody else might have touched. Wash your hands or sanitize before and after eating, drinking, smoking or using the loo. And make sure you wash your hands as soon as you get home. In these extraordinary times, we all know what to do. Stay home, be prepared if you're going to work, follow the advice and rules when you do get to work, maintain social distancing, increase hygiene levels. We've all done it while we've not been working. We've all stayed at home unless we needed to go out for shopping or for our daily constitutional walk. We've all had to queue if wanted to go into the local shops. Without being told, we followed one-way systems round aisles so as we don't put ourselves at risk or anybody else. We know what to do, so maintain that good behaviour when you go back into the workplace. Keep yourself safe and don't put anybody else at risk. And I hope you get back to work safely and remain healthy. This is meant to be a very, very quick guide to cut through the reams of advice that we're being given. But if you need further support, please leave a comment on this page or feel free to phone or text or email me. Look after yourselves. Thank you for your time and attention.